getting into. And I showed up the first day, and what did they do, the House Democratic leadership? Well, they changed the rules on us. See, they realized that Republicans had gotten to be too many in the House, and so what did they do? They changed the rules, and they said to do the procedural things that you need to do, like pulling bills out of committee and to force matters on the floor, force votes on the floor of the House, that rather than have a majority, you'd need 2/3. That's the first thing they did, ladies and gentlemen. And so for those first 4 years, House Republicans, about 43 of us, we had enough votes to keep Haley Barbour, keep his vetoes and sustain his vetoes, and they knew that. And power began to change. And Haley Barbour became, and in my opinion, one of the most successful governors in the state of Mississippi. With the help of the House, with the help of the Senate, we were able to push his agenda forward and push the conservative agenda forward in the state of Mississippi. Well, that wasn't enough. They saw that more Republicans every day, more switchers, more House members were becoming Republican, and they realized that there were more problems on the horizon. And we had an election in 2007, and we came to the House, and we had the votes, ladies and gentlemen. We had them. And we know how to count, but so does Billy. And after 2 historic tie votes, never happened before in the state of Mississippi on a speaker race. After 2 historic tie votes, we lost the speaker's race. Now I want to take you a little bit over to the other side of the Capitol and tell you what happened there. You remember that Lieutenant Governor Phil Bryant was in a very heated race for the party nomination with Senator Charlie Ross. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And there were a lot of people that committed to Governor Bryant, and there were a lot of people that committed to Senator Ross, and Governor Bryant won that race. But Governor Bryant, he put down this anger in the election and this pettiness and this decision to be all powerful and to make people mind exactly how he wanted to. What did Governor Bryant do with his committee chairman? He made a fair representation of Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. And the Senate worked well for 4 years. And what happened in the House, ladies and gentlemen? You know, for 4 years, not one single Republican chairman of any committee. Not one.
That's right. That's
ladies
right.
and gentlemen, you know what else happened? We were dispossessed from every office. We didn't even have an office with a door that you could close. But guess what? Then 49 House Republicans, I call them the rabid Republicans. We were outnumbered, but we weren't outmanned. We fought and we kicked and we scratched and we pushed conservative agendas. And you'll remember 2 years ago, Speaker McCoy could not get the votes to adjourn his own House. We stood there and we fought and we said, until you get a budget that's fiscally sound, that's based on real numbers and real dollars, we ain't leaving.
Yeah, baby.
And you can't make us go.
Yeah, baby.
So now we're 53 Republicans in the House.
Woo!
53. That means we've had that many people come to our side. And the question is, where do we go from here? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think Billy McCoy is going to be Speaker again because I don't think he's running for office again. I don't. But regardless, whatever happens, we're going to be ready. And how do we do that? In 2007, we came up 1 vote short, and we know what happened because of that, don't we?
Yeah.
We know the legislation that was stymied in the House. We know the fact that we couldn't get real immigration reform in Mississippi. We know the fact that we couldn't get real voter ID reform in Mississippi. We know the fact that we couldn't get real protection for the unborn in Mississippi. We know these things. We know that the committee process stymied so much legislation and so many bills that we're interested in as conservatives. We know this. So the question is, what do we do about it? Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we need 1 more vote, but we need more than that, don't we?
Yes.
We can do it. Do the math. 53 House Republicans. What do we need? You know, we can do it. I want to tell you that these last 4 years I've served as the Republican leader of the House. And I want to tell you, I've never been so proud as when we have stood together in unison, mostly voting no, against legislation that was bad for Mississippians, all Mississippians. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that these House Republicans came together this year before we adjourned, and we said, we're not going to commit to anybody for Speaker. We as a conference are going to come together when we come back in January, and we are going as a collective group decide what we will do. So the question you must ask those that are running for House is, do you intend to listen and abide and follow the will of the Mississippi House Republican Conference in its decision for Speaker? Because I can assure you it won't be a Democrat. And I can assure you it won't be a Liberal. And so when people are running for office and they put their name on the ballot, R or D, ask them, well, now the House Republican Conference is going to make a decision, and do you intend to follow that? Do you intend to consider that? What is your position on that? And the other thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, be it a Republican or a Democrat, it is very important that you get a measure of the man. And for so often we are inundated with media and other forms of communication that may not really tell us who these candidates are and what they mean. And it is incumbent upon us as candidates to find you and look you in the eye and tell you where we stand on the important issues, just as it is incumbent upon you to find us and ask us. And any candidate that won't come and see you and look you in the eye and tell you exactly in a yes or no fashion how they stand on an issue is not one you need to vote for, Republican or Democrat. And I'm here to tell you that I ask you to ask the hard questions. Look us in the eye and ask us the hard questions. And I commit to you that the Republican Party in the state of Mississippi's entire focus in this next legislative cycle is on the Mississippi House of Representatives. You can help. Find a candidate. Support that candidate. Get that candidate elected. We need a few more, and we are there. We are there for good government. We are there for conservative government. We are there for fiscally responsible budgets, and we are there for the people of the state of Mississippi. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Baker. Our next speaker is going to be Corey Wilson. He is a local attorney. He is a former candidate himself, and he is also the former Chief of Staff for Secretary of State Delbert Hoseman.